Hi everybody, I'm Justine, and I just want to let everybody know that when you go through hard times, God is still there for you. Um, you just have to be able to look through Him, through His Word, with open eyes and an open heart instead of being hard-hearted. Don't let your pain blind you from beauty. And that's something that I definitely know well. I know that. I've been through some things, and I'll get into that in a little bit later. I love Life Jennings. He's one of my favorite R&B singers. I love some other artists too as well. I'm mainly like more of a gospel girl, but I'm definitely an R&B girl too. I just genuinely love music that has a good story and things like that, but I'm definitely an R&B girl. Life Jennings, 26 Years and 17 Days is one of my favorite songs, along with, I believe, River. But this song right here, I'm going to play this song for a little bit, and then I'm going to get into, what I wanted to talk about. So, here we go. It's my jam. Hopefully it plays. So, let's see if we can get this going here. Hopefully it's not too loud. But, hey, loud music is one of my favorites.
Yo, what's up? No, my brother.
You gotta listen to the words.
Today I'm on my way somewhere.
And I hope it doesn't do that throughout the whole thing. Okay, let's just let it look.
Yo, what's up? No, my brother. Not today, I'm on my way somewhere. Now, let me tell you a little story, man. What happened to me not that long ago, yo. Check this out. See, I was looking for God at my grandmama's house.
Okay, we're gonna have to let this load.
Yo, what's up? No, my brother. Not today, I'm on my way somewhere. Now, let me tell you a little story, man. What happened to me not that long ago, yo. Check this out. See, I was looking for God at my grandmama's house.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? No, my brother. Not today,
I'm not gonna go through that the whole entire video. Forget it. Although I'm just gonna let it load and I'll play it after the video or something. But that's one of my favorite videos of all time. Well, songs, I mean. I'm a little clumsy with my words. Not that I don't mean what I say and say what I mean, but I'm like dyslexic with my words. I'll say it backwards sometimes, or in the middle of the backwards of the word. I don't know how to explain it. Hopefully I don't do it in the video. I kind of wanted to address to you guys that like beauty can come from ashes, and I need to figure out where that is from. Let me look that up real quick, because I think that is from the Bible, but I don't know. Let me just look that up. Beauty from ashes. Beauty from ashes. Let's see if it's in the Bible. All I do know that one of my favorite verses in the Bible, I have a lot of chapters and stories and verses that I like, but this one particular verse really just speaks to my life, and it goes like this, like, He has made everything beautiful in its time, and that to me is so powerful. It speaks to my life in all areas. I can look back and reflect on what it was like when I was a little younger. I'm 17 years old now, and I'm in high school. I'm a junior in high school, and I've been through some rough times. I've seen some things I shouldn't have seen. I've been some places I shouldn't have been at all. I've made some mistakes, and I've learned from those mistakes. I don't know how to explain this enough, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like I have no emotion. There comes a time where you go through so much in this life that sometimes you become numb to certain situations. Not saying that I'm numb to this particular story because I'm not, because it definitely has a soft spot in my heart. And I feel that God has given me this mindset to let things go to him, and to cast all my burdens at his feet, and to just praise him when I'm really going low and when I'm really in a happy place. I lost my mom in 2009, 9909. It's pretty weird, all nines in one date. I would have to say that I was definitely a mommy's girl, but then again, I was a daddy's girl too, but that's a whole nother story. My mom, she was very precious to me. She passed away from a cocaine overdose, and it's pretty hard to say those words, but sometimes it's like, that's what happened. I did not know that my mom was on drugs until like she passed away, and she had only been doing drugs for about 2 weeks, maybe a week before she passed away. She lost like 17 pounds in a week. Maybe it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I did notice a lot in her behavior. She became a lot more angry, more hurt, more aggressive, maybe a little abusive, but not even abusive. And when I mean abusive, I mean like she would just be like slam things down, yell a little bit, but then again, that's not really abuse. But then again, it is. I would have to say that, I've seen my mom go through so many different chapters in her life. I've seen her get a divorce with my dad, and I'm not going to go into details about that because I want to respect my dad. Let's just say that it wasn't healthy for them to be in a relationship with each other, and she got hurt and he got hurt, and it's just a big mess. And when you're a little kid and you go through that kind of trauma, with your parents, for one, getting a divorce, that's like, whoa, like, I want my family to be together. Why does this have to happen to me, God? Like, I don't understand. Then I realized, like, it's probably the best that they weren't together, even though every child wishes that their parents could be together. And so after my mom had got a divorce with my dad and stuff, my mom started kind of going downhill. Not saying that I'm not saying that it's the stem of what she did or how she reacted to life, but it definitely had a lot to do with her character, what she's been through, her character, like everything about her. When you go through things, it kind of molds you into this person because you've been through something. So she definitely had a lot of pain. My mom, she was a beautiful woman. She was very beautiful, and she had a big heart. She had a huge heart. And a couple of years after, my dad and her divorce, she was single for a while, and then she started dating. I was kind of younger, so I didn't really pay attention to all that. She kind of just dated here and there, and it was healthy, and she was fine, and she was doing good. And she's always been addicted to like painkillers and stuff. And how do I explain it? Like, I guess looking back on it, like, we'd always go to Kaiser and stuff, and she would get like pills, but I always thought it was just because she had like kidney stones. And when she was about my age, 17 or 16 or something like that, she had got kidney stones really bad, and they'd have to put a shot in her back, and so therefore she got addicted to them. And so ever since then she's been addicted, and she would go from like painkillers to get shots in her back, and she'd go to different hospitals, different clinics, different places, so that, because they would start to catch on, like, oh wow, she's kind of taking advantage here, and she would get on Vicodin and stuff like that. But that was never really a big deal because my mom was still kind of normal. After a while, that's just a daily thing. My mom, she took pills because she was kind of like an alcoholic, but dependent on those pills. Not that she would die without them or anything, but I never knew it was a problem. She was a loving mom. She was caring. She was beautiful in all ways. Although she started after about 2 years or so, after she dated this one guy who had moved in and lived with us, and somehow that didn't work out, so that person moved out of our life. And about a year or two later after that, my mom meets this guy, and he's a little on the different side. Like, she's never really dated somebody like his character. He was a black man who was in that type of lifestyle. Like, he was living like he used to be a pimp, he used to be a drug dealer. He probably still is a drug dealer. Always in and out of jail since he was like 11. Just a big, huge rap sheet, and like a mile long. And nothing is wrong with like if you've been through something like that. But then again, like, it just all depends on where that person is in that mindset now. Like, have they grown? Have they matured and stuff like that? But where I'm trying to get here is my mom, like, she told me ever since that person was out of our life that she wasn't going to let another man, live in our house until she was married. And I was like, okay, Mom, that's cool, that's awesome. And then like a year or so later, so I don't know, she started talking to this guy that she met on Light Row. And it kind of seemed a little cute because she came home and she's like, I met this guy, he's so cute, he's like, he looks like Omarion and just all this stuff. And I was like, okay, Mom, it's cool, I hope you're happy, kind of thing. And I was like 11 or 12 there then. And about a week later, he comes over, and that day, he moves in, which I was like, okay. I was kind of like, whatever, she didn't keep her word, that's fine, who cares. And so he moves in, and I thought that was kind of weird, and let alone, like, this little girl right here, I was like 11 or so. I'm not around different races than outside of my own. I was like, whoa, this is culture shock. Like, whoa, why am I hanging out with this kind of people? Like, I don't understand. And I'm not saying like those kind of people, like, as in bad. Like, I'm saying like the people that he was around wasn't what I was used to. And so after a while, of course, I get used to that. And then all of a sudden, like, he changes on my mom. Like, he changes his attitude, his personality slowly over time. And he starts like beating her, but I didn't know about like him beating her until I see bruises on her. And I'm like, why do you have bruises on you? Like, I don't understand. Are you falling? Like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, I'm falling in the shower, I'm slipping, I'm hitting against something. And I'm like, okay, Mom, you're not that clumsy, but okay. So after a while, a kid starts to catch on. So I started catching on, and things started to get more real. It got really real. And they would argue all the time. He kind of showed signs of like controlling. He was very controlling, didn't want her to be places at certain times. They would get into arguments all the time, and she would kick him out, and then he'd come back, and then he hit her, and then the cops come, and it was just a big mess. And then he would go to jail for a couple of months, and then we'd go visit him every Sunday or whenever we could visit him. My mom would pay his books. Like, he just was like a low life. Like, he was just living on my mom's money. My mom's insecure, wanting to be loved, at the wrong place at the wrong time, looking for love in all the wrong areas. And I would definitely have to say that my mom was a strong person, but at the same time she was very weak. And she was weak just due to her condition of her heart, and I mean heart like as in mentally, like her mindset was not in the right place at this time of her life. And I've seen my mom go through different chapters, and I probably mentioned that when I started this video. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. It's kind of nerve-wracking. It's kind of like the first video that I'm doing. But anyways, like, well, she's not really wanting to be with him. She's different. Like, she changed so much for this guy. And it's so crazy to look at it that way, because my mom, she loved my dad. She loved my dad no matter what he put her through. And I'm not going to go into those details because I don't know if my dad's going to watch this video or not. But when it comes down to like my mom and this dude that she's with at this time in her life, it really brought her down. She was not the woman that she used to be. Um, Everything about her demeanor is different. Everything. Um, and she didn't love herself. She didn't love who she was, and that hurt. And I could see that through her actions. She didn't have to say anything. She didn't have to do anything. You can see that. And there comes a time where like I would see him beat her. Like for some reason, all the arguments would come into my room. Um, they would be always arguing about something, and that was typical in the household that we lived in. And after a while, he got her pregnant, and that was like one of his ways to like keep her solid in that relationship, because he wanted her to take care of him, because he didn't have a job. For one, he has a rap sheet, so who's wanting to hire that unless he goes and works for some. He did have jobs off and on, but he didn't keep them because he was in jail all the time. But so she got pregnant, and that's a big thing for her, because at the time she was like, whoa, this is pretty big. I don't want this baby. Like, why bring a baby into this relationship when I get beat all the time and I'm hurt? And like she tried so many times to get out of that relationship. She had suspicions that he was cheating on her. My mom got money for her tax return, or and he took she had bought him a car. It was like basically their car, but he used it all the time in his Lexus. It was really nice. And she put it in his name. Like everything was in his name. So like that's how kind of like their relationship was. And so like after the baby was born, it just went all downhill. And he beat her one last good time, and she ended up putting him in prison. And he had a warrant for his arrest in Oregon, because he had did something bad up in Oregon, and he had left from Oregon to hide from that. So when he came out here, they're gonna send him. They had sent him back to Oregon to do his time. So he's in jail for a good time, a long time, and that kind of gave my mom some relief. Not that she wasn't cheating on him, because she wasn't at this time. She was not cheating on him. And she was like loyal to him. Like she was like faithful, and she'd pay his books. Like she just let him take advantage of her. And she was like a good woman down, like Mary J. Blige kind of stuff. And it kind of just like made my mom so different. And when I look back on this, it's kind of hard for me to look back on it, because when I look back on my life and what I've been through with my mom, for one, like the whole idea of my mom is a big, huge part of who I am. Not that it has to do anything with my personal testimony, but it definitely has something to do with who I am, why I am the way I am, and what I've done in my life, what mistakes I've made, what I've seen, what I haven't seen, and just my character. My mom, she started realizing that he cheated on her, and the girl, she had found out who this girl was that cheated on her with when he cheated on her with. That kind of didn't make sense, but anyways, that didn't make sense. I think you get it. So when he cheated on her, she went crazy. She started cheating on him back, and he didn't know about it. And I don't know why she did this, but she dated all the guys that he knew, but none of them knew from her perspective that they were doing the same girl. That kind of sounds weird and nasty to say about my mom, but that's just what it is. That's the truth. My mom would have guys in and out all the time. Like I'd come home from school one day, and like there'd be this guy in my house, and he has an Escalade, and then one day he'll have a Chevy, and then he'll have like another car that's like all tricked out and 24 wheels on it, and like tons of weed and 4 different phones in his back seat. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not the life that I would want to live, especially let alone be in a relationship with multiple guys. that live this lifestyle. Like, he said he knew Lil Wayne, and like claiming he knew Lil Wayne, and like he has a house in Reno and a jet ski and just like all this stuff. And he wanted my mom to have his baby, so because he wanted a son, like he would pay her, like just all this drama. It's is really random right now, but long story short, basically my mom started basically having like 5 boyfriends at a time, and she's playing every single one of them. And they got her into weed. She started doing weed. And then eventually it led to vodka. She would drink tons and tons of vodka. And this is all in the course of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And this was like a dramatic change. It wasn't like slowly. I mean, she kind of slowly started drinking vodka and smoking blunts and stuff and all that. But it kind of seemed like it was all dramatic, all in one. Because like a week or so before she passed away, she lost like 17 pounds, and she fit into all of my clothes. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you fitting into my clothes? And I didn't know this, but I kind of catched on to it when she had passed away. My mom, like, we would go over to my little brother's cousin's house, which is her baby daddy's cousin's house. And we'd go over there, and they'd have like drugs on the counter. Like, it would be a whole bunch of boxes full of blunts or swishers or whatever you guys call them. They would have like bongs, like different kinds with duct tape on them, and other different colors, and just different things. And then they had a tray of like a glass tray with white stuff on it. It was either like little rocks, like white rocks, or it was just like already smashed up and I had a razor by it. And I looked at my mom and I was like, what is that? Like, why is that there? And I kind of had an idea of what it was, and I just don't want to say anything, because you don't say much when you're around those type of people. Like, you obviously know what it is, so just don't say anything. And like, I kind of caught on, because they would, like, the guys would be in the garage and the females would be in the living room, and the garage and the living room are like really close to each other. So the females, they would make these snorting noises and make fun of the dudes in the garage. And we just thought, the kids were just like, oh, they're just like trying to make like pig sounds. And we thought it was funny. Like, it was really funny at the time, but like I look back on it and I'm like, wow, that's what they were doing. They would go in, the females would go in the room for like a couple of, maybe an hour at the most, and they would be in the room, like the door locked, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. My mom wouldn't go to work. She would like lie about going to work. She'd park her car somewhere else, and I kind of caught on to all these things after a while. And then one morning, I was late for school, and I woke up and I went downstairs, and there she was. She's just dead. And like, I don't really know how to say this without it sounding like I'm trying to make you feel bad for me, because that's not what it is. Like, I woke up and she just was laying there. She looked like she was asleep. Like, she really looked like she was asleep. So I'm trying to wake her up, and she had covers on her. She was laying on her stomach, and I pulled the covers off, and boom, she peed her pants. And I was like, why the F are you peeing your pants? And at this time, I was not really a Christian. I didn't have good morals. I just was like living the life. I just didn't really understand that kind of concept of things. And I threatened her, because she had a lot of vodka bottles on the counter and stuff. And that night before she had passed away, she had told me she was going to go over to my little brother's cousin's house and stuff, and that she was going to fight the girl that my little brother's dad cheated on her with. I know, she's 33 years old wanting to go fight some girl because she slept with her man. I don't know. In ghetto life. So basically, like, long story short, like, she passed away, and I was trying to wake her up, and she just didn't wake up. I didn't wake up on time, to run downstairs and be like, Mom, wake up, and then maybe I could have saved her. These are all the things that, like, over time, I'd be like, oh, poor me, I could have woke up earlier. Like, it's all my fault. And those are all the things that I kind of thought it was my fault. But now, at the place that I'm at now in my mind and stuff, the mindset that I have is like, that's not my fault. That's my mom's choice. That's my mom's choice to die. And I'm not going to go into details about like everything that happened after that. Like, obviously you can tell she just passed away. Yeah, I witnessed it. Yeah, I saw it, just another day. I'm not trying to sound like I don't care. It's just like, I don't, it feels weird to like go into details about something like that unless I write it down and you guys read it or something. But I'm not gonna do that. This is really nerve-wracking. So that's why I have the whole concept of like beauty coming from ashes or ashes coming from beauty. I really do feel like God has really blessed my life, and I do really feel like He has taken away from my life. And it's kind of like it's not like He took my mom away. My mom made those choices to die. She made those choices, not like she intended to die, but she made those choices to do cocaine and to do vodka and to overdose on pills and cocaine and all that kind of stuff. And that's how I developed this mindset. Like, you are a negative reflection of your own pain. You do what you do because your heart feels what it feels. If your heart is filled with joy, you're going to smile. You're going to be happy. You're going to love on people. You're going to, pray. You're going to do whatever you need to do. But if you don't have that solid relationship with God and you're not following His word, you're going to start falling. You're going to start being tempted by things. You're going to be living the worldly way of life. And my mom, like, we went to church every Sunday. She'd be crying every single Sunday at church, and nobody would knew why. Like, no one knew why. She'd cry, and I'd be like, what's wrong with you? And it's crazy to look back on this part of my life. Like when I seen my mom go through so many chapters, and when I mean so many chapters, it's not even enough time for this video. Like, I'm trying to make it short and simple. And I'm not trying to be so aggressive because I feel like I'm like hecka mean right now, but it's just the solid truth. Like, when you do drugs, okay, you really affect everybody around you. Not just yourself. You really can ruin other people's hearts. You can kill yourself and then end up having your kids find you. You don't need to do that anymore. If you need help, go get some help. There are hotlines, there are people you can go to, there are grocery stores. Walk into a grocery store and say, I need some help, man. I'm on drugs. I need some help. Do something about it. Don't just let your kids watch you die slowly. And it really, truly, it can either break a person or it can make you. I've been through hell and back. And not only that, not only having to see my mom go through hell, her own type of mistakes, her own trouble, but then to see after that, I went through my own struggles because I was living out that negative reflection of my heart because of the pain that I went through, of the voids that I was trying to fill because I lost her. And she basically just left. It's like I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't have any relationship with my dad. It was kind of like, it was weird because I had to go live with my dad, and that did not turn out good because my dad was in the military for a couple of years and he had PTSD really bad and some other health issues, and it was like everything going downhill. It just did not work out. I started having sex, I had sex for the first time, and that was hell. Like, it was just all bad. And I started doing these things because I wanted to be accepted, because I wanted to be loved, and only God could fill those things in me. Only God could take that and make that beautiful. And that is a really weird thing to think about, because if you think about it, like, He is my missing pieces, and it's like I'm a puzzle. Like, you put me back together. Like, He puts me back together, and he makes me clean as snow, cast my sins to the east to the west. And it's so crazy. Like people who do drugs, you need to realize, like, your kids, the way they see you live your life, if you get beat and your kids see that, one day, especially if they're a man, one day they grow up and they're going to think that it's okay to hit women. You need to check yourself. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. Like, especially a woman, like, I was starting to accept the fact that my mom would get beat. Like, I would tell her, like, you're the one who got yourself in that situation, you know? And at first, like, I didn't accept that. Like, I was like, whoa, why are you beating my mom? You know, and I would go tell my teachers and get CPS involved, and then that's a whole mess. And basically, like, like, man, it's so hard to talk about this. um, it's just like, watch what you do. Like, just please, people, like, to the people, like, watch what your heart has. Like there's this verse in the Bible and it talks about your heart. It says, above all else, guard your heart, because from everything you do flows from it. And that's in Proverbs 4:23. And that's such a good verse to really kind of reflect towards what I'm talking about, because everything you do is from your heart. Everything you do. And I don't know if I can say that enough. Like, I don't know anymore. Like, seeing my mom go through all those things has really changed who I am. And it didn't just happen overnight. It happened over a period of time, going through my own grievement, going through my own classes. I actually had to take classes, and I lived in a group home for a while, you know, after I lost my virginity. It was just horrible. I don't know how to explain this anymore. But just long story short, basically, like, I love my mom. I love my dad. I'm not mad at my mom. I forgive my mom. I'm not mad at my dad. I forgive my dad for what he's done. I've learned that I'm not my parents' mistakes, and neither are you. I've learned to let God really be in control of my heart. I try to read my Bible every day. I try to go to church. You know, I try to listen to all positive music that has to do with God, or just has a positive message, not necessarily like all secular music, because I'm not about secular music, but I really do love some Christian music. I'm a gospel girl, you know. I love gospel music. And I think that's also another way to heal too. Like, another way that God uses healing is through worshiping. One thing that I've learned is to not let my anger take control of who I am, not to let my past take control of my future, not to let those memories of those times of finding my mom, seeing my mom get beat, and like just all these terrible things to overrule my heart, like to overrule my eyes and my mind and the way I speak, the way I carry myself. Like, that's not who I am. Those things don't define me. And I'm not happy for the bad that has happened in my life. I'm not happy for the choices that my mom made. I'm not happy for any of that, but I'm definitely happy that she's not here anymore and that she is in a safer place. I am very happy that I learned from her mistakes. I'm not happy that she passed away, but I'm not happy either that I had to learn this way. But this is just how it is. There's a verse in the Bible where it talks about, I think it's in Romans, something about, for everything that is written in your past, it is written to teach you, and to teach others. And everything that's in my past and everything that I've done, everything that I've seen my mom go through, is definitely something that this is the reason why I'm making the video, you know. It's just like, man, make the right choices. Like seriously, like, stop living in your hurt. Like, do something about it. Don't die to your negative heart. You know, build your heart up. Pray to God. Know God if you don't know him. You know, and he's the only thing that has helped me get through all the situations that I've been through. He's the only thing that I have to lean on when I'm not strong. He is strong when I'm not strong. So basically, just like, keep living life, don't go through hard situations because you want to learn on your own. That's a big thing. Don't just say like, "Oh, I want to have sex because I want to know how it feels." Everyone's doing it. No, don't do that. Like like seriously, a man, if you're looking for a prince, that prince likes his princess wrapped as a gift when you get married. That's a gift that you give to somebody. And if you have had sex before your marriage, I really just want to let you know that there is you can be healed from that, because I am. You can be restored, and God can give you a new heart and a new mind. And just ask God to have the desires of His heart, and He will grant you those things. And never be with a man that hits you. It's not worth it, and you don't deserve to be hit, and neither do men deserve to be hit. Um, I just encourage you guys to realize that what you do, everything you do, impacts somebody else. And I just also wanted to encourage you guys that like God is here, whether you see Him or not. I know that even in every atheist out there, that they've had the thought of God. I mean, just look around you. Like, look at the ocean. Look at the beautiful. That does not just come from monkeys, okay? The bottom line, that just not that whole concept, like everything around us, like God is the only way. God is the only thing that can make those things. So I feel like I'm a little aggressive in this video, and I don't like that because I'm not an aggressive person. I'm actually a very gentle person. It's just like I'm having trouble with like voicing my heart right now for some reason, because I feel like I'm doing it wrong, but I'm not doing it wrong. So I just need to stop talking and end the video. Peace out. And possibly make another one. So that way this is not so, yeah, this is whatever.